Okay, so this one for the sixth one, we're going to be continuing talking about the narcissistic abusive relationship that I endured for about 10 years. I needed to get it done on one go. I feel that my body's being reacting in certain ways, and I need to speak this, I need to talk about it. And again, I've told you this a few times, but this for me is a healing. I think one of the techniques that I've used for healing that has blown my mind is speaking it and making sure that I don't keep quiet anymore, that I really raise my voice, because there's a lot of people going through this. And one of the things about these type of relationships is we swallow it all. We just keep it bolded. Whoa, we just keep it, sorry. We just keep it inside. We're not allowed to talk about this. We can't say anything. And as well, we're just afraid, that something could happen at any point in time. I've been even this week dreaming with him and like about him and stuff. And I'm just freaking out. I'm like, he's going to appear like out of the bushes or something like that. Like I'm just freaking out. But, I'm getting the strength, and I know that this is bigger than me. And I just need to get it out. And I need to be as neutral as I can, because I don't want to put all of it in him as well, because it takes two to tango. I wasn't, like the perfect little being. I was as well, after everything that I've gone through, I as well had my things, and I had my fair share of shit as well to share with him. But at the same time, I think that I didn't deserve everything that I got. Like, I was so good to him in so many ways. Like, I lived my life for him, and I wouldn't have left him like ever if he would have given me a little bit more than what he did. So I'm glad in a way that he did what he did for me to walk away. Anyways, last episode we left off where we decided to go to Colombia because of the pricing of getting my teeth fixed. So, we kind of said, okay, so I'm just going to go with you. I'll help you pay half of it. So we jumped on a plane, and we did a stopover in Miami and LA. So, it was like, okay, so like, let's travel for a little bit, like, cool. So we get to Colombia, and they were like, okay, so we're going to have to do, bone implant, and we're going to have to do all this stuff. So straight away, there were like 3-4 surgeries to get the bone in there and get gum to be able to put on my front gum to cover the hole, because it was shattered. It was like the hit was so big that it was actually like screwed up. So we got to Colombia, and I was so excited. I wanted to introduce him to my friends. Like, we were now in my place, so I had friends, I have this, I had that. So he just became, again, oh my God, I couldn't go out. My friends couldn't do anything. So he always had to be there. So, he was dependent on who he liked, because he didn't like any of my friends. He thought that everyone that I knew was just, like, he will make fun of them. Like, he would be loving to them, but then he would tell me all this stuff. And it was just like, and he had this really, he was a big liar. Like, he lied so much. And he would lie about things in front of me that we had lived together. And I'm like, okay, well, that didn't happen, but, yeah, Rosa, did that happen? I'm like, yeah, because I was just put on the spot, and I couldn't contradict him at all, because, oh my God, I will freaking have it then later on. So, so we get to Colombia, and I remember even one time, it was my birthday. So I had a group of friends from like my whole life, and we were in this beautiful place. And, I was super excited and telling them all this stuff, and, telling them that I had fallen and that I was without teeth. In that moment, I didn't have no teeth. Like, without these 2 teeth, I was for about 3 months. So I had a massive hole there. I cut my hair really short. Like, I was going for a really big depression. Like, it was really bad. Because, I couldn't see myself in the mirror. I kept telling him that I didn't feel pretty enough to even have a relationship with him. It was just, it was just weird. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. But anyways, I've always been with a good attitude. I remember even I used to go to the bank and like scare little like people that were there. Like, so I was standing in a queue or whatever, and I'd be like, and people would go, what the fuck? Like, she's got a massive hole in her mouth. Like, look at her, she's so pretty. And then she opens her mouth and she's got no teeth. Like, what the fuck? So, I try to like take it as best as I could to be able to manage through that fucking situation. So we were sitting down in this beautiful restaurant with my friends, and I'm like laughing, and yes, and we went to LA, and we went to Miami, and then we went to here, and I was telling them all about the trip, and he just goes in front of everyone. And he goes, yeah, like a perra callejera, which means like a dog, like a street dog. I was so embarrassed. I was like, it was my birthday. Where are my friends? I hadn't seen them in a long time. I'm supposedly introducing the man that I love, and he goes and says that. And I kind of said to him, like, what the fuck would you say that? Like, that's so rude. Why would you call me a slut again in front of everyone? Like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, in Spain, it means something different. Like, you take everything so personal. And again, I was the bad one. So, we started getting the surgeries, but obviously he wanted to go out because he was in Colombia. So, I would be even like that, because I told him like not to go out by himself because he's very Spanish and you're in Colombia and it was dangerous. So, he would escape, like he would pay because I lived in, a condominium, in an enclosed place. So they had like security guards and everything, and he would pay the money to let him get out. And he was just doing a lot of shit behind my back that later on I found out that was crazy. So he even got depressed once. He was like, I have depression. I almost wanted to kill him. I'm like, you're fucking serious. Like, you break my face. You're all this and you're fucking crying. Like, I just, it was so frustrating, because I had to not be, because he was one that, depending on my mood, that was his mood. So if I was in a bad mood, if I was sad, because I was going through a fucking really traumatic moment of my life, he would never say, I'm sorry. He never apologized. He never recognized what he did. And if I spoke to him about it, he would just say, that I didn't want to do it. And that's when I tell you that when that happened and I didn't allow it to click in his head and I said, don't worry about it, roll me a joint, he stuck by that the whole time. He was like, that I didn't want to do it. That it was not my intention to hit you. That it was this and blah, blah, blah. And he would just change the subject and never said, I'm sorry. So anyways, I started noticing that when we were in Colombia, he wanted a lot of Coke. And I was like, dude, you're like staying in my house. Like, please don't do Coke while you're in my house and you're going to talk to my parents. Like, it's just to my mom and my stepdad, because for me, it was really like, have some respect, Then I know that then people told me that he used to go and score a Coke from the people that I was introducing him to and get my other friends to hide it from him and send it to him. And the freaking stupid people from my enclosed living place, security guards, used to give it to him. So he started getting hooked in cocaine really bad. It got to a point where we were in Christmas, because we spent like about 5-6 months in Colombia, roughly, or 4 months, can't remember really. Where he just started getting really hooked. Like a lot of alcohol and drugs every day. Like it was just, and he would pretend that he wasn't doing it. So he would like sniff it and flush the toilet. But I'm not stupid. I would hear him. I go, what the fuck are you really doing Coke now? Like it's freaking 10 o'clock in the morning. Like what the fuck are you doing? Or, with my family or that Christmas party, he had fucking Coke in his nose while he was sitting in the table. I wanted to kill him. It's like, dude, you have no fucking respect. What the fuck? But I kept feeling bad for him. So when we first arrived, I remember he went to talk to his parents, like he always used to hit and speak to them. But I heard him speaking this time. When I hear him say, yeah, I just came out of my English class and, yes, I'm still working in the restaurant. And I kind of went, wait. So I look at him and I go, and I knocked on the door and I went, I want to ask you something. Have you told your parents you're in Colombia? And he goes, no, I don't want them to know. I went to my mom and I said, Mom, you tell him to please tell his parents that he's here, because if anything happens to him, because he goes out on the street, like if I was to tell him, please don't, like they're gonna rob us, like look at them, because in Colombia we know, we kind of see people and we know where to go and where not to go, that's in our blood. It's like street smart. And he will poke his head out and go, oh, she's telling me you're gonna rob me, in a Spanish accent. And I was like, oh my God, this is so dangerous. Like he's just looking for fucking danger. Like it's just too much, And I need you to tell your parents you're here. Like, I need you to tell them that you're here. But obviously, he didn't want to tell them because he didn't want to say whatever. Obviously, he blamed me. He was like, Rosa had an accident, so I had to come with her because I love her. That was his fucking thing. So anyways, he told them that he was there. And straight away, the parents' reaction was, we'll come to Spain and she can get all the surgeries here. Because they didn't want him to be in Colombia for that long. So, you know, we said, okay, so let's go to Spain. And I thought, well, why not? I don't know Spain. That's so cool. Fuck yes, let's go. I love traveling. Like, for me, travel is like everything. And one thing about our relationship is we traveled a lot. We moved a lot to a lot of places. So, you know, I was like, okay, well, let's do it. We were, you know, so I came to Spain. We came to Spain. We were supposed to stay only a month. We ended up staying over 3 months, which was already an issue because I couldn't stay that long. So we kind of left already kind of being, you know, like not following the rules of immigration. So we get to Spain and things just started, like, I should have seen it, but I don't know. I think I was excited because when we first arrived at his house, we arrived at this 4-story house it was a mansion. Like, I didn't know he had that much money. His family has a lot of money, like a lot of money. So when he saw that I saw how much money he had, he became more manipulative. He became more aggressive. And in a way, I don't know why the fuck. I think that maybe you get blindsided as well for everything and you kind of go, fuck, like look at the mansions and look at the fucking cars and look at this and the money and stuff. And you just kind of get blindsided. I have to admit it. I said I was going to be raw. So I'm going to be raw. So, you know, we arrived in this beautiful beach house, which was in a Barcelona hotel. Beautiful. It was like beautiful. They have like these villas there and they owned one of the villas. So I remember we stopped in our convertible Mercedes and we were stopped there and he kind of looks at me and he goes, you're going to meet my parents now. You cannot tell them that we've traveled anywhere. They think that I've never left Australia. So do not mention any trip or anything. I'm like I'm very honest. My mom knows everything about me. Well, here we go. I'm very blunt. I've always been like that in a way of saying not the negative stuff, but I've always kind of said everything that I've done and I've lived through. It's my life, you know. So, I get introduced to them and I'm like, all the apartment was full of photos of him in the trips that we've taken. And they think it's Australia. And I was like, okay, I can't mention anything. I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to check my words and what am I saying and, all this stuff. So anyways, his drinking just started getting out of hand. But because of what happened, I was very afraid of saying anything. Like if he was mad or if he was drunk, I would just keep quiet and look down. Like I was just, I didn't want to go through it again. Like for me, it was such a bad experience that the aggressive Rosa was gone. The fighting Rosa was gone. The I can take anything, it was gone. Like it was like somebody switched a light. Like I was just off. And even before we came to Spain, we went to this island in Colombia, San Andres, for like a month, right? We stayed there. And the friend that I used to live here in Australia, she went with her husband and, we kind of clicked in and whatever. And the husband and him were really kind of got along. So he went to hit me again. And I remember we had a massive fight because some guys were saying something to us and we laughed, or I don't know, we just didn't respond the way he wanted it. And he actually went to hit me again. And I grabbed a knife and I looked at him and I said, if you fucking put your hands on me again, it's going to be you or me who's going to live in a body bag. Like, that's it. Like, I'm right now with my mouth fucked up. I have no teeth. I've gone already for 5 surgeries. Like, if you touch me again, I'm going to defend myself this time. So he wasn't aggressive anymore of trying to hit me, because he never tried to hit me again, really, but he would punch everything and he would break stuff around. Like he would even like kick and punch the floor. Like it was just like a little fucking kid. Anyway, so we go to Spain and, we were there for like this almost 3 months, like the whole summer. and we were going to his little town, and oh my God, they were drinking so much, because in Spain, in the little towns, even women, they know how to drink, mate. Like, I thought I knew how to drink, but I had no idea. They're massive drinkers, like really, like grandmas will be having bloody wine at lunch, you know, like it's so common, and mostly in like towns and stuff. So, you know, we were kind of having a lot of fun, and another friend of mine came and visited, and we were traveling, and we were doing all this stuff. So he thought, okay, so why don't, like, his family used to work as a manufacturer of clothes. So in 2008, you know, with the whole thing that happened, my teeth got on 2010. So his parent was like, you know, why don't you just come to Spain? Like, we're going for such a hard situation here. We're going to be closing this, and we're going to be opening what is called ITVs, which is inspections of vehicles, like when you get your pink slip and stuff, which is a private entity in Spain. So they were going to close that, and they were going to open all these new places. So he was like, hey, Rosa, why don't we just stay in Madrid for like a few years? We help our family kind of transition into this new thing, because they're really bad financially right now. You know, like because of the closing of a company that they had for 30 years, they had to pay a lot of people. Like, it was just a lot, right? And he said, why don't we just stay in Madrid for like, you know, 2 years, and then we go back to Australia. And I thought, yeah, why not? Like, you know, let's live in Spain. Like, I just felt it was so cool. I was like, yeah, let's stay in Spain, and we live here, and, you know, it's a beautiful mansion, and we have all this stuff, and we travel, and we do all this beautiful shit. Yes, let's do it. I started getting allergic reactions from Australia when I met him. Like, my face will swell up, like my nose bridge will come up to here. I start getting hives. Like, I started getting a lot of allergic reactions, and I didn't understand why, because I was getting them in Australia, I was getting them in Spain. I was like, every time they told me like, what's the common denominator of what's going on, and I couldn't pinpoint anything, because nothing was in common. The only common thing was him. So, but I didn't think about him, you know. I thought it was something that I ate, or a medication that I took, something that was giving me that allergy, but I didn't know. So we were in Madrid, and I had a really big shock. Like, I had an anaphylactic shock. Apparently they were going to intubate me and everything, because my tongue started swelling up, and like I was hives for everywhere. It was really bad. Like that allergic reaction was really, really bad. It was one of the worst ones that I had. You know, I went to the doctor. They didn't know what it was, allergic reaction. It kind of stayed there, but I started feeling sick. So I would get sick. I was really tired. I kept feeling like I wanted to puke all the time. So it was just the. They did a few surgeries in Spain. And then, you know, we said, okay, we're just going to come back. So let's go to Australia. We'll sell everything, and then we'll just come back to Spain. Okay, so we did that. We came to Australia. We sold everything practically with things that we had. We changed the rental agreement that we had, and we went to live to Madrid. I started working for the ITV that they opened, so the new business that they had. And, you know, so he looks at me and he goes, oh, Rosa, they're going to open one in Albacete. It's a little tiny fucking town in the middle of Spain. We're going to open one there. And I think I want to go, so we can go for a year, open it up, and we'll leave. We'll go to Australia. And I thought, well, okay, we're not going to live in Madrid, we're going to live in Albacete. But okay, doesn't matter, let's do it. If that's what we need to do, let's do it. So we moved to Albacete. Albacete is like in between Madrid and Valencia. So they call it Albacete caga y vete, which means poop and leave, because it's like the stopover from that transit of the two cities. So it's just a shithole. I'm sorry, but it is. It's just a little town where everyone just drinks, and that's it. But because of my allergic reactions, I couldn't drink. Like, I would have one beer and I would start getting really sick. Like, I wanted to puke. It was just bad. Like, I couldn't even eat anything that had alcohol in it, because I would start getting sick. So we go to Albacete to do this work, right? And it was really hard, because it's a little town. Everyone, you know, from a little town always kind of does the same thing. Dude, I used to walk through towns handling pamphlets. I would do like check everyone's work. I would do little drawings for little kids to paste like here. I would train everyone that was there. I did so much for that company to make it even what it is right now. I did even a 500-page admin book to be able to teach anyone. If anyone was coming or whatever, we could just refer always to the book of how we did every process and everything. Like it really showed me my abilities in my work atmosphere, and it really taught me that I could do a lot, because I didn't think, because I felt always, oh, I didn't graduate from school, I didn't really have experience, like I've done a lot of fucking shit but nothing in common, so I don't know what I'll be good at, I don't know what I can work at, so I'll just take whatever it is. And this showed me beautiful stuff. So because we got married in Australia, then I found out he hadn't told his parents that he got married. We didn't sign no prenup, anything, well, nothing. So we went to Spain, and he told his parents like, oh, so he did say, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get married with Rosa so Rosa can stay. And his lawyer, like the lawyers from the family, he was like, okay, so let's have a chat. And so we locked him in the room, like, we're already married. It's like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Like, what the fuck? It's like, okay, so we can't sign a prenup, but we can just legalize it or whatever thing. But because we didn't do it from Australia, I had to stay for 3 years without being able to leave the country, because I had left already 3 months after. So I was already infringing some type of laws or whatever. Even when I came back to Spain, they were going to deport me. I had to show my marriage certificate and show them that I was going to get that legalized for them to let me into the country. So anyways, we never signed a prenup. Like, we never ended up signing it. We just legalized the marriage that was there. Then, I started working with him, but he kept saying, I can't do a contract because we're legalizing the marriage. But once it's done, I will give you a contract. Okay, so 3 years have gone by. And the thing is, because he had a lot of money, I felt bad because we were traveling and because, we were getting all this stuff and whatever. The money that they gave me as my allowance, my salary, I will give it to him. This fucking idiot. I will give it to him because I felt bad. So I thought, well, I'm doing my, because if I was earning 1,200 euros a month, I'll just, literally, I would receive it in cash and I'll pass it to him. I wouldn't even keep $5. Even my mum always we used to say, Rosa, put money, just save some money. I go, I can't, because first of all, he won't let me, because he spent everything he had. He would come into a bar and he'd go, oh, I'm sharing to everyone. And he would just spend the whole money. And nobody would say thank you to me, even though my money was there. But it was him, it was him. And I felt bad because, we had 4 cars. We had this beautiful house. We had all this stuff. And, I felt my contribution wasn't enough. I started living in this stupid little city, which I hated because it was so little. I couldn't even go to the movies and watch a movie in English. Like, they were with the Spanish translation, so it was really bad. I couldn't take the movie seriously, it was just like... So it didn't have anything for me because I didn't drink. I didn't really have friends. It's a university kind of city, so there was a lot of young people and stuff. So he secluded me so much. Like, he took me to this little town where I didn't know anyone, so I didn't have no friends. I didn't go out. I didn't do anything. The only thing I did was stay at home, smoke weed, play video games, but I would cook, clean, iron, everything for him. Everything for him. It got to a point where he would, I would go to work and he would be laying in the sofa. I'll come back from work 8 hours later and he was still wearing the same clothes, sitting in the same spot. And apart from that, I had to go and cook him dinner. So, I started getting frustrated and I was like, well, if I cook, you clean. Like, there were certain things that if I do this, you have to do that. So, we kind of compromised in certain things. But then it got to a point where if he came home, I couldn't ask him how his day was. I couldn't say, hey, how was it? Because he would go fucking mad at me. Oh, are you being jealous and you want to know everything about me and you just can't let me go and like blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just, it really screwed me up of me not being able to ask him anything, because I was the crazy one. And but in that moment, I really felt I couldn't live without him. I felt that, you know, that was it. Like, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. It was just no. And, you know, it started getting really bad because he would disappear for 2-3 days, and his friends used to call me and say, Rosa, like, he's here, he's passed out, like, don't worry about it, like, you know, he'll come home, or whatever thing. I remember I used to just lock the door and just say, well, whatever happens, happens, you know. And he would drive his car really drunk, because after Colombia, he became really hooked in coke and drinking, like really bad. He would say no, but I could hear him, you know, and you can just tell sometimes. And so obviously I wasn't drinking because I got diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease, which is called mast cell activation. Practically what it does is your body attacks itself. Like if you're having allergic reaction to like peanuts or seafood or whatever, like, you know, you can die. Well, that was happening because of anything. Like, so they said, you know, heat, cold, anxiety, some foods, but because it was a rare disease, they didn't know what was causing it. They just couldn't pinpoint what it was. My body would show that I was allergic to a lot of shit that it wasn't allergic to. Like, I remember they even said to me, I was allergic to hazelnuts, like really allergic. And I'm like, fuck that, that's not true. I love Ferrero Rocher. And I sat down with a box of Ferrero Rocher in the hospital, and I said to the doctor, look, I'm not allergic. I don't even have a rash. Like, what the fuck is going on? So they couldn't figure out what was going on with me. It got to a point where the doctor, I remember I went to her, and before I got diagnosed, she goes, I think you have a blood disease, because they call it, it's like a blood disease, but it's an autoimmune disease. Like, they kind of put it everywhere because they don't know where to put it. But I don't want to tell you what it is because I don't want to scare you. Your next appointment is in 6 months. Oh my God, I'm going to kill this bitch. I remember looking at her going, what the fuck? Like, seriously, like, why would you even say that? Like, now I'm going to freak the fuck out because I think I'm dying. Am I dying? You know, and I started getting all these red dots all over my body, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm gonna die. Like, I really thought I was gonna die. Like, I really thought I was gonna have some type of cancer or whatever fucking thing. Like, you know, like, I started looking for my symptoms in Mr. Google, and everything was like, cancer, you're gonna die. So I got to a point where I was weighing 40 kilos. I was super skinny. I was super sick. I wake up every day wanting to puke. Like, I couldn't retain food. It was just all in my stomach. Like, it just got really bad. And he will make fun of me. He would just look at me and go, stop with that fucking face. Like, you know, he'll make fun of me because I was sick. And he kept saying that I was making it up, that I was pretending that I was sick. And, you know, I had to put a brave face and go to work and do all this stuff. And it just got really bad, and you know, they had me taking 13 antihistamines, you know, what you take for allergies, 13 pills, some of them that were just prescribed for me, which there were some blockers of some sort, I don't even know what it's called. So I used to take 13 pills a day, and I had to carry with me 2 adrenaline injections. So they told me that I couldn't travel, that I couldn't move from the house, that I had to live close to a hospital. It was like, I remember looking at the doctor and I went, fuck that. Like, I love to travel. I'm not going to, like, no, like, that's not going to happen. Like, I'll probably just don't take, because I couldn't take medications. So nothing for pain, nothing anti-inflammatory. They couldn't put me anesthesia. Nothing. Like, it was, they can't touch me. So I had like 3 types of different insurances and everything. And every time that I got something was like, nobody wanted to touch me because, you know, for legal matters and stuff. Because I could die just because you looked at me practically. And they started me in anxiety medication because anxiety would kick the cells and activate them and then get an allergic reaction. So, you know, I started getting really sick. I started getting over the whole situation. He was drinking so much. He wasn't even home now. Like, I would go to work and he wasn't even at work because he was saying that he was looking for clients outside, but he was just drinking in the bars with his friends, you know. But I couldn't ask him where he was because that was not allowed to do, you know. So I had to stay at home, be pretty, and that's it, because I didn't have nobody to go out with. And, you know, I just became this shy, introverted person because I couldn't laugh because I laughed too loud. I couldn't talk to other people because then I was flirting with them. I couldn't look at any other place that it wasn't him if we were out because I was looking to other people and I was flirting with them. So, you know, it was unbearable. So one of my really good friends, she's a bit older, she's like 60 something. She came to visit me. She's like a second mom. Well, she says I'm a second daughter, but yeah, she's my friend. So she came over and she does like to drink. So, you know, I had like a bottle of wine that I used to cook with, because I cooked with good bottles of wine. So I was cooking in my pink kitchen because I had a pink kitchen, which I loved. And, you know, and I had my dog and she was like kind of my company for everything. And I remember she came and she was like, oh, Rosa, can I have a glass of wine? I went, well, yeah, I've got some wine there. So I pour her a glass of wine. And she looks at me, she goes, this is water. I went, what? She goes, it's water, this is not wine. And I went, fuck off, what do you mean? She goes, try it. And I went, I can't try it because if I try it, I'll get sick. Like literally, if a little bit of alcohol touched me, I will get sick. And I'll get rashes and everything. It was crazy. And I went, wait, what? Try it. And I sip on it. And it was fucking water. And I thought, wait, this just got out of hand. Why would he replace the bottle of wine with water? He loved to lie to me. Like that was his thing. He loved manipulating and loved lying. So if he could put lies onto me, and I sometimes knew he was lying, but I just couldn't be bothered fighting. So I just kept, you know, I just don't want to fight. So whatever, I kept being like that. Like, I just don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. So I wouldn't say anything. So, you know, I said to her, like, fuck, like, I don't know what to do. Like, this has got out of hand. Like, I don't know how to help him. Like, I don't know what to do because I can't tell him anything because he would just react really aggressive. Like, but he's drinking the bottles of wine that I'm cooking with and then not even going to get a new bottle or anything, but he's filling him up with water. What? Does he get a kick that every time that he sees me putting wine into the food, he's getting a kick thinking, oh, what a fucking idiot, it's water? Like, it just made no sense. So, you know, she said to me, why don't we go to an AA group for family members? So I started reading this book, you know, how to help a loved one that has issues with addictions. So I started reading it and I was like, okay, so let's go to this meeting. And I entered this freaking meeting for AA. And obviously we're in a little town. And I entered and there was 5, 6, 60, 70-year-old women. And they were all sitting there depressed and, you know, telling them how, like, when he was drinking, how aggressive he got and all this stuff. And I'm just looking at them going, that's me. Like, I'm not even 30. I was 29 in that moment. Well, and I remember the girl looked at me and she goes, would you leave him if he had cancer? Because it's a disease. Oh man, I remember when she said that to me, I got so mad. I was like, fuck off. He does have a bloody option not picking up the fucking drink. Because I've been an alcoholic as well. And you know, you have choices. Like for me, that moment I decided I wanted to leave him. I thought I'm not going to be one of those women. I'm not going to be sitting here telling me that there's nothing I can do and that I have to handle it and I have to handle all this abuse and him not appearing for 3 days and me staying at home and being all this. I'm almost 30. And I said to him when we started the relationship, I wanted a big family. He made me have that abortion. He was supposed to later on have a kid and then he just never would talk about it. And I couldn't touch the subject because it would be a bloody fight. So, you know, that moment I decided I wanted to live in. So I remember I had a chat with him and I said, look, I'm not happy. Like, this has gotten out of hand. I saw the bottle. Like, you know, I don't want to be here anymore. I really, like, if you don't change, I'm going to leave. So I'm going to give you a year. 1 year, like today is February, I don't know what the fuck, 2016. February, we're going to be talking next year about this. If you don't quit drinking, if you don't quit doing drugs, I'm going to go. Like, that's it. Like, I'm done. Like, I went to AA for friends because I'm trying everything. I was crying and, like, you know, we were like hugging and it was like, I'm sorry, like, blah, 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 all this stuff. And you know how they get when they know that you're actually gonna kind of do it. But, you know, then I remember I was going to go, like, he was getting better. Even his friends told me, like, oh yeah, he's not drinking as much. Like, oh my God, we went out for dinner and he actually ordered a Coke. Like, you know, like, wow, he's changing. He's actually changing. Like, that's fucking good. You know, I was like happy. I'm like, fuck, we're going to be able to stay together. And then I was going to turn 30 and I was going to go to Aruba. So I said to my mom, like, Mom, like, da-da-da. And I remember she's like, oh, so he's going to come. So is he going to come? And I said, no, I don't want him to come because I've never been more than 3 days without him. I don't know what it is to be a month. I don't know. I don't know if I can leave him. Like, I don't know. Because I never left his side. I was always with him. The 3 days that I wasn't with him was the times that we were fighting, or the excuses he had to have a fight and then go out with his friends and fuck off for a few days. That was the most amount of time that I spent without him. So I didn't know if I could. So I remember I said to her, like, no, he's not going to come. Please do not mention it or invite him, because I want to know if I can actually do leave him. Because I don't know right now. Like, I don't know now what I can do. Like, I don't know. So I went to Aruba and one of his friends called me and he goes, he's really drunk. Like, he's here in a party, which he told me he was at home supposedly, but he was like, no, he's here, he's in a party. And because he used to call me at certain times, then, you know, try to call me before 12 and then he'll go out at 12. So he was always escaping. It's just that I never paid attention. There was so much going on that I never went to pay attention if he was cheating on me or if he was leaving. And also, I didn't even care. He got to a point that was so bad that I didn't even care. And I never looked for it, you know, like, I don't even know if he cheated on me or not. Maybe, I guess so. But I didn't really, in those moments, I just didn't care. And, you know, when they told me that he had been drinking and he told me that he was at home and he wasn't at home, that was the moment that I had already been in Aruba and I was so happy. I wasn't feeling sick. I felt energized. I felt again a little bit like myself. And I remember thinking, that's it. Like, I'm leaving. Like, definitely I'm leaving. So I came back to Albacete. And it's been already 5 years that we were living there, right? So I remember I sat down with him and I said, so, you know, let's talk. Like, we already, the year it's almost done. Somebody called me and told me you were here and you were drinking. He was trying to like say that it wasn't true or whatever. And, you know, I kind of looked at him and I said, what type of example do you want to give to your kids when we have kids? And he looks at me and he goes, I don't want to have kids. Wait, what? We've been together for 10 years. I've spoken to you about having, because I wanted a big family. I wanted 5 kids because I'm an only child. How can you tell me 10 years later, now when I'm almost 30, that you don't want to have kids? It's like, no, I don't think so. That for me was like my permission card to say, I've got now a reason, a valid enough reason for me to leave. Because nobody knew what I was living with him. Because he was a beautiful man for the outside. Everybody loved him. My family loved him to death. He was the best fucking man. And he, like, Rosa did fucking well. Like, he is just the best. She won the lottery with him. So I remember we sat down. You know, I started getting all my papers ready, you know, my license and all this stuff. And I was like planning where I was going to live and what was I going to do. So I was thinking maybe I was going to go to Paris, like Paris, Rome, or Barcelona. Those were my 3 options where I wanted to go and move. Because after living in Albacete, I thought, fuck this shit. I want to go to a big city. And that was kind of the thing that gave me a little bit of strength of saying I want to leave. I remember I was sitting down and I kept thinking, I'm in the same relationship my mom went through my dad. I'm repeating the exact same pattern. Same type of person, same type of situation. 10 years together. This is too similar. So, and I forgot to say, so when I told him about the year, I remember I called my cousin. I had been smoking by then weed for the 10 years straight, every day. I was numbing myself, you know, I smoked weed every day. And I remember I called my cousin. I said to him, I'm going to quit smoking. He's like, how the fuck are you going to do it? You've been smoking your whole life. Like, what the fuck? And I said, well, if I'm going to leave him, I have to leave him sober. I have to leave him with my whole freaking six and seven senses, with everything, with all my senses. I need to be, because if I leave and I come back, that's the end of me. He's going to do with me whatever the fuck he wants. And so I quit smoking, and I actually I wanted to go and train volleyball because I played volleyball when I was little. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go and, like, you know, go into a team and just practice. I actually started playing professional. I was really good, and I started playing central positions. So I was playing for the team of Albacete. So we would go and play with different towns and stuff. So I would train 4 days a week, and then on the weekend I used to play. So I was always, you know, that was one of the ways for me to help me quit. Not only weed, you know, the addiction was just, I changed it for sport, and you know, I changed the habit for that, for a healthy habit. And, you know, it would help me as well get over the whole situation that I was living with him. So, you know, I started being already friendly with the girls in the team. So, you know, I was just being so different, and that showed me such a different side of me, because I had never been sober. Never. I remember even saying to my cousin, like, I don't know who I am without alcohol or without drugs. Like, I'm so scared of knowing who I am. Like, am I going to be this? I don't know. Like, so many things went through my mind of thinking, I was never sober. I was always drinking or doing drugs, drinking or doing drugs, drinking or doing drugs. So I didn't know who I was without it. And I saw this beautiful part of me, a chilled one, a really adorable, kind of cute, very determined, very sportish, I just saw the most beautiful parts of me. So that gave me so much strength to be able to leave him. And so I remember I said to him, we sat down and I said, okay, so the year's gone by, like, I'm going to leave. So where are you going to go? And I said, well, I'm going to go to Barcelona. And, you know, we hugged and we cried. And that day we were saying, thank you for everything and blah, blah, blah. Like, we ended in really good terms. So he even, the day that I was going to move, because I left with my Mini Cooper. So I said, you know, we have to get divorced. So, you know, called the lawyer and get the papers signed. Bear in mind that he never did a contract of work for me. It was first the 3 years, and then after the 3 years, when I really got my papers, his excuse was, this is yours. This whole thing, because it became an empire again. So they started with one, they had already 6 in that moment. And I helped build those fucking 6 with the this and that. And, you know, like, another whole 6 because we were not in Madrid, but it helped with the admin and the thing. And I was just a part of that growth, yeah? So I remember the lawyer looks at me when I went to sign the divorce papers, because he wasn't even there. And he looks at me and he goes, what do you want? We had no prenup, nothing. This has kicked me in the ass for so many years, but I still don't regret doing it. I do feel that I could have left at least with what was mine, or what it was, you know, the normal thing, or, you know, I just thought they were going to behave good with me, and they didn't at all. So in that moment, I had 3,000 euros in my bank account. 3,000 or 2,000. The lawyer looks at me and he goes, what do you want? And I looked at him, because every time I told him I was going to leave and stuff like that, like, he was threatening me to, like, kill himself. And he even told me, like, oh, you're just going to come back. Like, this is just a little fit. Like, you're just going to go. You're not going to be able to live without having this lifestyle. Like, you're just not, like, no, you're going to come back. Ha ha. And I look at the lawyer and I said, I just want him to let me go. I was sure that he wasn't going to let me go and that he was going to make a fuss. And I knew that if I said no to the money, it was going to be me. It was going to be easier for me to just leave and not know anything more. Nothing more to do with him. Like, that's it. Like, I can just leave and finally be free. So anyways, I signed the papers and, I asked them and I said, okay, so, I was working for you guys for about 7 years. Like, can you give me like a compensation or something now that I'm going to leave? Like, I've only got 2,000 euros. You got what you corresponded to you. Wait, what? Yeah. No, but they were like, no, that's it. I remember I just looked at them and I thought, you know what? Fuck you. After everything I've done, after all the effort I put, after working for 7 years and not even have now any record in the government because they never gave me a fucking contract. So I couldn't go to the government and say I've been working for 7 years because it just appeared as I didn't. So I had no record of me working. They had nothing. I didn't have nowhere to prove it. I had nothing. So I was just left like a little turtle upside down. But I was so over it. I was so over it because I think the year that I gave him, it wasn't for him. It was for me. I healed in that year. It was for me to be able to leave him and go, oh, I'm fucking free. It was for me to be determined in what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go, even though I had no idea what I was going to do. So I called a friend of mine. I was talking to him and he was like, oh, so I'm going to go and travel. And he came and it was such a beautiful thing because obviously I left him and then my friend came and we traveled all through like Spain to show him and whatever. And then I called a friend and I said to her, you know what, I'm going to go to Thailand. Like the 2,000 euros that I have in my bank account, I'm going to spend it in Thailand. I'm just going to go and do my relationship and started in Thailand, like the whole loving part and yummy whatever. So I'm gonna finish it there. And she goes, I'll come with you. I love her for that. We had such a fun time. But in that moment I didn't drink, I didn't smoke. I was like sober, as beautifully sober, playing volleyball. It was really good. So he even drove. I remember it was so dramatic because we went to this hotel. We weren't even sleeping together. Like, it was just, we didn't even, like, it was just, it was his way and I was my way now. And so we get to this roundabout and, he was saying goodbye for like the revision mirror and he left that way and I left this way. And I went to Tarragona initially, close to Barcelona, because I had an auntie living there. Very religious auntie, which kept saying to me every day, because obviously when I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm going to actually get a divorce, everyone was like, what? Like, you guys are the perfect couple, because everyone used to see us as that. We used to be together and people used to take photos of us. Like, it was crazy. Like, even a month before I left, we did this underwater photo shoot and the photographer kept saying that he's never seen so much chemistry between two people. And I'm thinking, I'm leaving now. Like, I don't know, but we were, I don't know, it was just something magnetic about how we were together. And mostly in those good years, good years, it was always fucking shit, but there was a lot of beautiful stuff, and we had a lot of fun too, so I can't just put all kind of crap. And this auntie used to say to me, like, you have to fight for your relationship. You can't just leave your husband. And, I was the terrible one again. My family always think I'm the terrible one. But, I had never told anyone what I had gone through. I never told them. When I got divorced, I started telling. I remember the first person I told was my cousin. I'm very close to him. And I said, my whole accident, it wasn't me, it was him. And everyone was shocked. For me, it's like, how the fuck am I going to fall into like a circle thing? It made no sense that nobody asked, like, how the fuck is that happening? How can you break 6 teeth in a ball? Like, now I think about it, I'll be like, what the fuck, man? Like, that didn't happen. Like, what happened? But everyone believed my fucking story. And when I told him, he was in shock. He was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, he was like that? Like, no, buddy. And I think that's why it's so hard for me. And that's why my whole nerve and how fucked up I am right now about talking about this, and why I wanted to record these 2 episodes in one go, because I never even spoke to my therapist about this. No one. I just swallowed that whole thing inside of me. And the funny thing is, I get to birth in Thailand. I remember my friend said to me, which was not something I should have done, because I think that opened up the door again for a lot of bad shit. But she looked at me, she goes, why don't you just have a drink? And I thought, well, I can't, because I'm going to get sick. And it's already been 5 years that I hadn't had one drink. And I go, well, no, you know, like I get sick. And she was like, well, have you tried whiskey? See, maybe if whiskey doesn't make you sick. And I tried it that night, and I woke up the next day and I didn't feel sick. So I couldn't take medication with alcohol. So I didn't take the medication, but I did drink. Nothing happened. Like, wait, what? I don't get it. What's going on? Supposedly I cannot take this medication because I would die, but I didn't die. What the fuck is going on? I have to tell you a little bit more about that, because it gets into a little bit more, but he was my illness. I was in such a toxic relationship that it made my body sick. My body was killing itself because he didn't like, it was just, he was what was getting me allergic reactions. That's crazy. Right now I have no illness. I don't take any medications for nothing. Well, right now painkillers because I've got my bloody nerve pinched. But don't take any medications. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. I'm healthy as a fucking horse right now. Yay. But it made me very aware that my body was just giving me signs after signs. I was diagnosed for 13 years. Now I've got the certificate that says that I don't have it anymore. And I can take painkillers, and I can take anti-inflammatories, and I can take the whole bunch. Like, now I'm not allergic at all to nothing. And I got told that this was a progressive, really bad disease that could kill me at any point, and I had to live next to a hospital. I'm so glad I didn't listen to that doctor. I'm so glad that I listened to my body and I left. So again, I'm going to stop it here, and we're going to be talking about my arrival in Barcelona. And where I start touching really deep end bottom. Beautiful thing is, again, why I say that I started my healing journey. I started my healing journey because I saw a different Rosa. I saw what I was capable of doing. I saw me sober, and I felt the first glimpse of love, of being proud, of knowing. And bear in mind, I left this man loving him. I loved him more than anything I've loved ever in my life. Now I love myself way more. But in that moment, I didn't at all. I felt I could not live my life without him. You know, I can still feel me sometimes. Like, I just see myself sitting down, just like, you know, I used to sit down because I was so alone. I was so sad. I felt so sick. I felt so ashamed. I felt like I was worth nothing. It was such bad moments that then it makes me realize, if we pay attention to the signs, how much it could change. How much it can, you know, like if you don't want something, your body's telling you stuff. If you're getting sick, why? Like, even now, I've been divorced for 8 years and I need to talk about him, and I get my nerves pinched because of years. It was so stressful for me to even think about what I was going to say in these 2 videos. And I fucking did it. Right now, I feel so happy, so liberated. Like, it was, I kept thinking, fuck, like, we know a lot of people. We have a lot of people in common. And a lot of people are going to know that he is not who he pretends to be. They're going to be knowing a lot of shit. that he always tried so hard to keep underground. And I'm opening that lid. And I'm scared. I'm even thinking he's going to appear in my doorstep at any point in time being and say, what the fuck are you talking about? Or call me a liar or do this or do that, because it was just really bad. And I didn't only divorce him, I divorced everyone around him. Because everyone around him just didn't care about me. I didn't really build relationship with anyone, so they didn't care. It was like, Rosa's gone. And I remember even one time I was in Barcelona and his brother's girlfriend called me and said to me, like, you know, like because I told her a bit of what was going on, but not went in deep into it. And she goes, Rosa, the lid is up. And I went, what do you mean? And he goes, well, Sergio, trying so hard to not say fucking name. Anyways, it's done. He's going out with this new girl. And it seems she stood up on a table or danced or something like that. And he went cookie nuts. And this girl, she just went to his mom and told him everything. And the mom's response was, my kids, he's not like that. He was never like that with Rosa. And she just looked at her and said, he's always been like that. It's just Rosa never said anything. Because when we're in a toxic relationship, sometimes we just don't want to say anything. Because we're afraid, because we're embarrassed, because, I don't know, it fucks with your brain. Like, really. Like, you know, it's just, the manipulation gets to such a deep brain fucker that your reality gets distorted. You don't know what's real and what's not. If you start having a discussion and they change the subject and they transform into something different and you ended up being the one to blame, you sometimes believe it and go, did I really do that? But wait, it would be a brain fucker. So anyways, oh my God, fuck yes! I'm so sorry, but I'm so excited. I fucking did it. I'm so proud of me. I did it. I spoke it. There it is. It's there. It's out in the open. It's out. And I know this is going to be a beautiful healing process for me because he made me believe I was not worth it. He made me believe I didn't deserve it. He made me believe I was a piece of shit. He made fun of me. When I laughed, I always was checking how I laughed, if people liked it or not, how they were reacting, how were they thinking, because I was always thinking that I was such a bad fucking person and that I was ugly and that I, you know, like how I dressed and how I looked and how I spoke and who I did and oh my God, seriously. Now I'm falling in love with me, and it's been such a beautiful process for anyone going for a toxic relationship. Get the fuck out of there. Because it's been 8 years where I even spoken to my therapist and I can't speak about him. It's been 8 years where I now realize the trauma that I lived with him, because before I didn't. I kept calling him the love of my life a year ago. I haven't been able to be in a healthy relationship after him because I felt that I wasn't gonna love anyone like I loved him. Fucking glad. Anything will be better than him in that sense. And now I can realize that. And it's taken me 8 years to realize it. Because we think we're going to leave him and then that's it. And sometimes we think it's harder to leave than staying there. Your brain gets fucked up. Get out of there. Get help. Talk to a therapist. Because PTSD and CPTSD, for so much trauma, it's a consequence that you have to carry for the rest of your life. You can rewire your brain and you can learn how to do certain things and you can understand your body now. Like, I didn't want to record this today. I was in the emergency room the whole day yesterday thinking, when I get home, I'm recording that freaking episode. I don't care if I can't walk. I will just sit there and do it. I don't know how I'm going to take a shower. I will just fucking do it. And right now, I am so freaking happy I did it. It is out there. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for staying, for listening. I really, really, really appreciate each one of you. I'm sending you all my love. I'm sending you loads of beautiful energies and Again, if you're going through it, just fucking leave them. Don't let them destroy you. It takes time to heal back, but it is possible. Love yourself, because your relationship, it's a reflection of your self-love. Thank you.